Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I'm here to debut my new series for the channel where I'm going to be taking one song from every album, and the series is going to be called Album Deep Cuts, and I'm going to be choosing one song per album from either a band or a singer. So I was recently thinking of this idea for something different on the channel for once, So yeah, the debut episode of Album Deep Cuts is going to be for the legendary metal band Iron Maiden. They have 17 albums, so this is me kind of a long one here, so let's go and get started with it. So the song I'm going to choose from Iron Maiden's self-titled debut is going to be the song Remember Tomorrow, and I just really love this song, and I choose this song because it's my favorite song on the self-titled album, so I had to go with the song Remember Tomorrow. I mean, the self-titled album is a classic within their discography, but overall, I just don't think it's one of their best, but it still is a very legendary and classic album. But yeah, the song Remember Tomorrow, though, is very good. And I even like the Metallica cover. But we're not talking about Metallica right now. We're talking about Iron Maiden. But yeah, the song is really good. So that's why I went with Remember Tomorrow, because it's a great song. So the song I'm going to choose for their second album, Killers, is going to be the song Prodigal Son. Now, to be honest, Killers is one of my least favorite Iron Maiden albums. I just think it's an album that just is kind of overrated, because people just put this album really high in their rankings, and I just don't understand that, because I don't think it's one of their best albums. I mean, it's not a bad album or anything, I just don't care for it. It's not my least favorite, it's one of my least favorites though. But yeah, Prodigal Son though from that album is just a really great song. Another underrated song from Iron Maiden, I think. I think it's an underrated song. It's probably a fan favorite from the album, but I would still consider it as underrated since it is a deep cut, because a lot of the times deep cuts from albums can be underrated. So Prodigal Son from Killers. Track 3 for an Iron Maiden deep cut is going to be Children of the Damned from their third album, The Number of the Beast. Yeah, man, Children of the Damned just has a very amazing chorus, and you'll just be wanting to sing along with it each time you hear it. It's just a really great song. Some of the best Bruce Dickinson vocals I've ever heard in an Iron Maiden song. So yeah, it's definitely a catchy track, so I definitely recommend it, and I kind of find it a very good song. So yeah, it's a great song, and it's actually one of my personal favorite Iron Maiden songs of all time. So yeah, Children of the Damned from The Number of the Beast, definitely a song any Maiden fan should check out, or any fan of metal. So yeah, Children of the Damned from The Number of the Beast. The fourth song I'm going to choose for an Iron Maiden deep cut is going to be the song Still Life from their fourth album, Peace of Mind. I hear a lot of other music reviewers on YouTube mention this song a lot, so I thought I'd choose it for this video. And plus, another reason why I chose it, because I think it's a great song. I don't listen to it all that much, but I still think the song is good though, because it's from one of their albums that is a classic in its own right, but it's kind of overlooked at times, if you guys know what I mean, compared to the other 80s albums, but still good album. And the song Still Life is definitely a fan favorite, since those other reviewers talk about it a lot. Great song though, I really like it, so I chose it for the album Peace of Mind. The fifth song is going to be Rime of the Ancient Mariner. This is from their fifth album, Power Slave, and this is one of their epic songs, and it's another fan favorite. Very great song. I know this might be obvious to choose for Power Slave since it's a fan favorite, but I really don't care though because it's a classic and it's a very well known song for many fans of metal and of course for Iron Maiden fans. So yeah, definitely a classic, an epic song, one of their longest songs to date, around 13 minutes and something seconds, so it's definitely the longest on the Power Slave album. It's not their longest song overall, but it is the longest song on that album, but it's damn sure worth each listen every time because it's a classic and it's one of their best songs not to be released as a single. I'll just say that right now. So yeah, Rime of the Ancient Mariner is an amazing song from Power Slave. Number 6 is going to be Caught Somewhere in Time from their album Somewhere in Time. This is basically the title track of the album since it does have Somewhere in Time included in the song title. So yeah, it's also the opening track on the Somewhere in Time album. Just a really great song here and probably another fan favorite. So yeah, man, it's not my favorite song on the album, but it is my favorite of the deep cuts though, so that's why I chose it for this list. So yeah, Somewhere in Time, very great album. The opening track or title track is really great as well. So yeah, man, had to go with this song because it's definitely a great opener and it's a great song, so I went with it. So number 7 is going to be Infinite Dreams from their 7th album, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Infinite Dreams, an amazing song. I think it's one of the best songs on that album, so that's why I chose it for this list. Definitely a really great song. So yeah, it's definitely one of their best late 80s songs. So yeah, Infinite Dreams from Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is the song I'm choosing from that album. Number 8 is going to be Mother Russia from their 8th album, No Prayer for the Dying. Now, this is another one of my least favorite Iron Maiden albums, to be honest here. But I think Mother Russia is the closing track of the album. Still a very good song though, and I would say it's one of the better songs on the album. So I'll just keep it at that. Just keep it short and sweet here for that song. So yeah, Mother Russia, No Prayer for the Dying. Number 9, Fear the Dark from the album Fear the Dark. I went with the title track of that album for this list because I feel like it's another song that everybody loves and knows, despite it not really being a single. It's not a single because I looked it up on Wikipedia as I was preparing for this list. I know Wikipedia lies at times, of course, because people can just go on there and edit shit anytime they want, but yeah, this is not a single from that album. It's a deep cut, so I went with it for this list because besides one of the singles on the album, Wasting Love, Fear the Dark is another one of my favorites on that album, Fear the Dark, so that's why I went with it for one of the deep cuts from the album. I know it's obvious since it's a fan favorite once again, but I don't care though because this song is amazing and I think it's one of the best closing tracks that they ever put on an album. So yeah, Fear the Dark from Fear the Dark, amazing title track, and I would go on to say it is one of their best title tracks as well. Number 10 is going to be Sign of the Cross from their 10th album, The X Factor. The X Factor was their first album with vocalist Blaze Bayley. Now, a lot of people hate The X Factor and the other album that he was on, but I don't think The X Factor is that bad like a lot of people says it is. Sure, it's not one of their best albums overall, once again, but it's not that bad though, if you ask me. And I went with Sign of the Cross because this is just another epic song. It's a fantastic song, and I just find it to be a very loved song from Maiden fans, especially Maiden fans that like the Blaze Bayley era, such as myself, because I don't mind the Blaze Bayley era, because I think he's a great vocalist. Sure, he's not no Paul Di'Anno or even Bruce Dickinson, but he's still done pretty good with the X Factor album, I'll admit that. So, Sign of the Cross from the X Factor is the song I'm choosing for this list here of Iron Maiden album deep cuts. Number 11 is going to be The Klansman from their 11th album, Virtual 11. Now, if I had to say any Iron Maiden album is my least favorite, I'm choosing Virtual 11 because I just don't think it's a very good album. It's not the worst thing in the world, believe me. There's way worse out there when it comes to the music industry. But, yeah, this is easily my least favorite Iron Maiden album, though. But The Klansman, though, is a classic and just another song that fans really love a lot. And for good reason, because it's an amazing song. I know it's like 9 minutes, but I would say it's worth checking out, though, because even though it is my least favorite Maiden album, I will admit, though, this is the best song on that album. So yeah, The Klansman had to be the song I went with from Virtual 11, because it's an amazing song, regardless of it being 9 minutes. At least it's not repetitive like another one of the songs on Virtual 11, I'll tell you that. So yeah, Klansman from Virtual 11. Number 12 is going to be Blood Brothers from their 12th album, Brave New World. Yeah, man, this is just another amazing song, and pretty much another beloved song, but I would say this one is underrated because the Brave New World album, while it's universally loved, it still is a underrated album from Iron Maiden, you know. But yeah, Blood Brothers just seems to be another beloved song from Maiden, but once again, for good reason, because it's just an average to amazing song. I mean, it's not an average song, my bad. It's an amazing song, I meant to say. Some people would just say it's an average song, but to me, I think it's a great song. So yeah, Blood Brothers from Brave New World. Very good song. Check it out. Number 13. Number 13 is going to be Journeyman from their 13th album, Dance of Death. This is the closing track on the album. And yeah, man, it's like an acoustic ballad. I mean, there is a version that does have electric guitars in it, but they went with the acoustic ballad version for the Dance of Death album. But either way, though, I like both versions, but I'm just going to stick with the album version because it's the version that I'm more familiar with. So yeah, Journeyman, I would say it's definitely a great way to end off the Dance of Death album. So that's why I went with this song, because it's just a song that I come back to a lot from that album. It's not a bad album by any means, despite its awful album cover. The album is great. I just don't come back to it as much as some of their other albums, but not a bad album at all, though, because it's very good still. So yeah, Journeyman, I know it's a ballad, but I still wanted to pick it for this list because it's a great song from Iron Maiden. It's worth checking out, despite it being a ballad. Number 14. Number 14 is going to be These Colors Don't Run. This is from their 14th album, A Matter of Life and Death. And now, I just fucking love that album cover. Like I said before, it's my favorite Iron Maiden album cover of all time. It's just amazing. I just love the skulls and the tank shit. Just an awesome album cover. While it's not an album that people appreciate all that much, I still respect their opinions. But I don't think the album is really all that bad, though. Sure, it's not one of their best albums again, but it's not as bad as a lot of people claim it to be, because I've heard way worse in metal, believe me on that. But yeah, These Colors Don't Run, definitely an underrated song, so that's why I chose it for this list here, and from that album, I meant to say. So These Colors Don't Run is a song I'm choosing from A Matter of Life and Death. So guys, we're just a few songs left within the video. So number 15 is going to be When the Wild Wind Blows from the album The Final Frontier. And yeah, man, this is just another really epic and long Iron Maiden song, but it's not as legendary as I'm an Ancient Mariner from Power Slave, but I would still say it's a song that you should check out, especially if you're a fan of epic metal songs. So yeah, When the Wild Wind Blows, though, I would say it's a great song. It's not necessarily mind-blowing, but I would say it's still a great song, though. So that's why I chose it for this list. Great song still. Number 16, this is going to be the song The Red and the Black from their album The Book of Souls. Just another long, epic Maiden song. I believe this one lasts for over 10 minutes, but it's still a good song though, and it's probably my favorite from the Book of Souls, or at least one of my favorites, so that's why I chose it for this list, guys. I'm sorry I don't have much to say for some of these songs. I just haven't heard some of these in a while, but they are good songs though, for sure. So yeah, The Red and the Black, The Book of Souls, great song. So the final one here is going to be number 17 from their newest 17th studio album, Senjutsu, and the song is going to be Darkest Hour, which is the opening track on the second disc. I just really love this song. I don't think it's ever going to be a single, but either way though, I love it. In between the whole album, whether it be disc 1 or disc 2, this is one of my favorites overall from that album. So I went with it instead of any of the other deep cuts. The other deep cuts, of course, were great because it's a really good album, but I went with Darkest Hour since it's one of my personal favorites on the album so far. So I chose it for that album. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys will enjoy this new series that I debuted with today called Album Deep Cuts, and it's been episode 1 for the legendary metal band Iron Maiden. So guys, be sure to let me know your favorite Iron Maiden deep cuts from all Iron Maiden albums. I know they have a long discography, 17 albums worth, but believe me, Maiden, definitely a legendary band and one of the best metal bands of all time, and one of my favorite metal bands of all time as well. So yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in to the debut episode of the new series. I truly appreciate it, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.